My name is Sarah. I am 29 years old. I live in a quiet village, surrounded by green fields and winding dirt paths. The air smells of fresh soil and blooming flowers, and in the mornings, the roosters crow before the sun lifts over the hills. Our home is not big, but it is warm and filled with laughter. My husband and I built it with our own hands near his father's house. The walls are plain, the roof simple, but every corner holds memories of our family. I stay home and care for our 3 children. Lily, my oldest, is 10. She is clever, always asking questions about the stars and how the world works. Lucy, 7, has a soft heart. She loves to help me in the kitchen and follows me around with curious eyes. And then there is Ben, our youngest, who just turned 2. His laughter fills the house like sunshine breaking through clouds. He toddles after his sisters, sometimes falling, sometimes shouting with joy, and every stumble makes the rest of us laugh. My husband works long hours in the fields. His hands are rough from labor, but his smile when he steps through the door at night makes the tiredness worth it. Our life is not rich with money, but it is rich with love. People in the village call us a strong family. I think they see the way we live simply, yet happily, and how we support one another. Not far from us lives my husband's older brother. He is 2 years older and has always been a guiding figure in my husband's life. Their parents were often away, working in the city, so the brother stepped in like a second father. He walked my husband to school, helped him with homework, and defended him against bullies. Because of that, my husband admires him deeply and listens whenever he speaks. That bond between them is strong, and sometimes it feels unshakable. The brother is married to Kate. She is quiet, kind, and thoughtful. Over the years, she became my closest friend. We share afternoons sitting on the porch, knitting and talking about gardens. We walk together to the market or take the bus into the city to buy seeds and fabrics. She has a gentle spirit, the kind of person who smiles more with her eyes than her lips. But behind her calmness lies a sorrow that has not left her for years. She cannot have children, a health problem, one that doctors cannot fix. At first, I believed time and treatment would bring her relief. I told her often, "Don't be sad, Kate. Medicine is strong now. You are still young. One day maybe it will happen." She always nodded and tried to smile, but the years kept passing. Each season turned, flowers bloomed and died, children in the village grew taller, and still her arms remained empty. I saw her pain in small moments, when she held my baby and looked at him longer than usual, when she watched other mothers play with their toddlers, or when her smile faded quickly after seeing her husband's eyes linger on our children. I wanted to ease her sorrow, but I had no words strong enough to heal that kind of wound. One day we prepared for a special celebration, the baptism of little Ben. The whole family gathered at our house. I spent the morning cooking, bread baking in the oven, stew simmering, vegetables arranged in large bowls. The smell of roasted meat filled the rooms. The children were dressed neatly, their hair combed, shoes polished. Neighbors and relatives arrived carrying gifts and bottles of wine. The sound of laughter and clinking glasses filled the yard. John, my husband's brother, was chosen as Ben's godfather. He held the baby with pride, smiling as if the child were his own. He handed small toys to Lily and Lucy and played with them until their cheeks turned red from laughter. He has always loved children, and children love him in return. Watching him that day, surrounded by little ones, was both heartwarming and heartbreaking. His joy seemed real, yet behind it I sensed a longing that cut deep. The evening stretched on with singing, dancing, and storytelling. Plates emptied and filled again, cups raised in endless toasts. The house buzzed with warmth and cheer. Outside, the moon climbed into the sky, casting silver light over the garden. Slowly, guests began to leave, saying their goodbyes with hugs and handshakes. The laughter quieted, the lanterns burned low, and the yard grew still. I tucked Lily and Lucy into bed, kissed their foreheads, and whispered good night. Ben was already asleep, his tiny hand curled into a fist around his blanket. The house, once loud, now held a calm silence broken only by the chirping of crickets outside. I felt tired but content, ready to rest after a long, joyful day. Just as I stepped into the sitting room, my husband entered with his brother beside him. They looked serious, their voices hushed. I smiled, expecting talk of fishing or plans for the harvest. My husband said softly, "Let me hold Ben. John wants to speak with you." I looked at them curiously. Is this about tomorrow? Or some trip? I laughed lightly, trying to break the tension. But John did not smile. His face was grave, his eyes fixed on me. He took a slow breath and said, "Sarah, can you have a baby for me?" The words hit me like a stone. For a moment I thought I had misheard. My laughter froze in my throat. "What?" I whispered. He repeated himself, steady and serious. "Can you have a baby for me?" I stared at him, shocked, unable to speak. My heart pounded in my chest. I looked at my husband, hoping he would laugh it off or scold his brother for saying something so strange. But he stood silent, his eyes lowered. The room felt colder. My mind spun with disbelief. I wanted to demand an explanation, to shout, to laugh at the absurdity. But no words came. I could only sit there, frozen, as the weight of his question sank deeper into me. That night, in the quiet of our home, after the joy of celebration, a single request shattered the peace I thought was unbreakable. And that was how it began. For a moment after those words left his mouth, the air seemed to vanish. My heart pounded so loudly that I thought he might hear it. I wanted to laugh, to deny the seriousness, but one look at his face told me this was no joke. His eyes were steady, his mouth set, his whole body leaning forward as if waiting for my answer. I finally found my voice. "Are you out of your mind? You want me to carry your baby for 9 months, and then just hand the child over as if it were nothing?" John didn't flinch. "I know it sounds strange, Sarah, but listen to me. I love Kate. I cannot leave her. She cannot give me a child, but I need one. Our home is so quiet, so empty. When I come here, I see your children. I hear their laughter, feel alive. And then I return home, and it is silence. It cries. I cannot watch her sadness anymore." I turned to my husband, waiting, begging for him to speak. "Say something," I whispered. But he remained still, his eyes avoiding mine. His silence cut deeper than John's words. I shook my head. "There are other ways. You can adopt. You can foster a child. You can." John interrupted sharply. "Adoption is not the same. My friend adopted once. The baby was sick all the time, weak from the start. It was endless worry, endless pain. I do not want that for Kate. I want her to have a healthy child. Your children are strong. You are healthy. I'm healthy. Together, we can give her what she longs for." I felt the blood drain from my face. "You speak as if this is simple. As if I am not a person, just a vessel for your dream. Do you hear yourself?" He leaned forward, lowering his voice. "I would not ask if there were any other way. I will make it worth your sacrifice. We will go far away so you never have to see us again. I will give Tom my entire share of the family money. Just help us, Sarah. Please." I could not breathe. The walls of the room seemed to close in. My husband finally looked at me but said nothing, as if trapped between loyalty to me and to his brother. That silence screamed louder than any words. I stood quickly. "I cannot talk about this now." My hands shook as I left the room. My feet carried me down the hall, almost on their own, until I found myself standing outside Kate's door. I knocked softly. She opened it at once, as though she had been waiting. Her eyes were red, her face pale. I knew immediately she had heard everything. "You knew," I whispered. She nodded slowly. "Yes, I knew." Tears welled in her eyes, and her voice trembled. "Sarah, I cannot give him a child. He loves me, but I see the way he looks at your children. I see how his heart aches. If I cannot give him what he needs, he will leave me. But if you help us, he will stay. He will still love me." Our marriage will survive. Her words hit me harder than John's. She wasn't angry, she wasn't demanding. She was pleading, as if the future of her marriage depended entirely on me. I stepped back, shaking my head. Kate, this is too much to ask. Do you understand what you are asking me to give up? My body, my peace, my life. And a child I could never see again. She reached for my hand. Her touch was cold. I know it is too much. But you are kind, Sarah. Everyone says so. You love your family, you love your children. You don't want my home to break. Please think of us. I pulled my hand away. And who thinks of me? Who thinks of what this will do to me, to my marriage, to my children? Do you know what you are asking? Her tears spilled over, and she sank onto the chair by the window. I ask because I have no one else. You are my only hope. I wanted to scream, to run, to shake them both until they understood. But instead I left her room, walked to my own, and sat in silence. The house was dark, the voices of the night carrying through the open window. My husband and his brother were still talking in the other room, their voices low and urgent. I sat there for what felt like hours, my mind a storm. Images swirled. Me carrying another child, the pain of labor, the moment of birth, and then handing the baby away. I imagined watching them leave with that child, disappearing forever. My arms empty, my heart torn apart. Could I even survive that? Yet another voice whispered inside me. What if they are right? What if Kate cannot survive this sorrow? What if John leaves her, and their marriage falls apart? Could I live with the guilt of knowing I could have saved them and chose not to? The questions circled endlessly, each heavier than the last. When my husband finally entered the room, I lifted my eyes to him. You said nothing. Why? He sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing his face. He is my brother. He raised me, protected me, gave me everything. How can I turn away now, when he asks for help? And what about me? My voice broke. Do I matter less than your brother? Do my feelings mean nothing? He looked at me, torn. You matter more than anyone, Sarah. But this is bigger than us. I turned away, unable to bear his words. Bigger than us. What could be bigger than our marriage, our family, my own body? That night sleep never came. The moon moved across the sky, shadows shifting on the wall, and still my eyes stayed open. My heart was full of questions, each one heavier than the last. What would I do? What should I do? By dawn I had no answer. Only fear, confusion, and the unbearable weight of choice. Now I ask you, what would you do if you were in my place? Would you give away your body, your heart, your child to save another marriage? Or would you refuse, and live with the knowledge that your refusal may destroy a family? I do not know the answer. My heart is torn in two.